Hi, friends. Senator Eskridge here. I'm really excited to have you on the investor webinar for the Fromley Townhome development in Twin Falls, Idaho. I'm really excited to have all of you here. Um, let's start off with a little bit of introductions. I don't know if you guys can see the chat or not, but let's drop your location in the chat so we can say hi to everybody and get to know who all's here with us. Drop your location and your name. Go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Let's see. I got a couple of friends here from Idaho. Awesome. Oh, there's a couple right here from Twin Falls, right where I live, right where this property is. There's some from Boise, Las Vegas. Hi from LA. Good for you. Texas. Oh, Georgia. Wow. It's late. It's 8 o'clock for you. Thank you for the commitment, friends on East Coast. There's another one from Virginia. That's awesome. Another East Coaster. Hawaii. Wow, it's early there. I love all the time zones. Thank you so much for getting on here, making the time. I'm really excited to have all of you here. Uh, as we go through this presentation today, if you have any questions, please drop them in the questions and answer box, and I will get to those at the end or try to answer them as they come up. I'm not always great, honestly, at multitasking and talking and then looking for the chat or the questions, but I'll definitely get to them at the end if I don't get them throughout the presentation. A couple more introductions coming in. Okay, awesome. Colorado, more Idahoans. A little bit, love it. I love the Idahoans. Another one there from Twin Falls. Thank you so much for being here. Very good. Well, let's just dive in here. I like to start on time, and hopefully a few more friends will join us as we go. Share my screen, and we'll get started. All right. So as I mentioned, we're here to talk about the Fromley Townhome development in Twin Falls, Idaho. Let me get this out of the way. We are doing a 136 townhome development right here in my hometown, Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a 3-year project. So you get that out of the way out front. It's development, which is real 3 years is really fast for a development deal. And the reason it's so fast is because the land is already entitled, permitted, everything is approved, and we're ready to break ground, which is very uncommon for this type of development. Usually you get into these a lot earlier and they take as many as 5 or 6 years, and this one is coming out in half the time. So, without further ado, let's keep going. Here's a few of the things we're going to cover today. We're going to go through the project in detail, the returns, and also a case study at the end. But before we start, I got to give you a couple of disclaimers. Guys, I am not a financial advisor, CPA, or attorney. This is not an offering to invest. For that, you have to read the entire PPM and get all your questions answered. This is a 506C, as in Charlie deal, which means you have to be an accredited investor to invest. If you're not sure if you qualify as an accredited investor, let's jump on a call. I'd be happy to go over those requirements with you and help you come up with a plan to show up as a accredited investor. So the team we're working with, I'm really, really excited to be working with Fromley Developments. It was founded by Mark and his wife Lori here. They have a ton of experience developing projects across the country, but also primarily right here in Idaho. I know Mark Russell really, really well. We've had several calls about this project and other deals that they're doing. But they also have a big team behind them. It's not just these two, even though they're awesome on their own. They've got all of these people here backing them up and supporting them. Here I am, Senator Eskridge. My job is to help people like you and others invest in this deal. And he's got, as you can see here, a whole team of other people behind him and some people that aren't even listed here, which is great because Even though Mark and Lori are great, you got to have a team behind you on a project like this. Fromley does a lot of things. They've got a lot of great services. So, we're here today talking about land development and construction, both new and renovations. They've got a lot of experience, as I said, building projects just like this one across Idaho and across the country. They also do other things. They help people sell things that they own, and they also buy and operate value add multifamily across the country. They've got some other projects coming up in the near future in that realm that I'm really, really excited about as well. So great team of people with a ton of experience. As I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, throw them in the Q&A and I will get to them at the end. So just a little cue for that. And go ahead and keep introducing yourself as you come in here. I probably won't read them out, but I'd love to see them in the chat. Activity breeds activity. So keep them coming. All right. So the problem, here's what we're going to solve. Okay. So Idaho's housing market is just way behind on supply. We've got a large supply or demand versus a low supply. Twin Falls itself is absorbing spillover from Boise, and the population has just surged over the last decade. This says a 30% increase. I actually think it's a little more than that. This is just what we can for sure quantify. Construction is a challenge in this area in Idaho. The land cost is actually really, really high in Idaho, and there's not a lot of contractors that can complete a project like this. So it makes it difficult to put one of these together. So when they do come together, it's an amazing opportunity and definitely something that we should strive to take advantage of. So Twin Falls is an absolutely amazing market. Here, this slide says the population's actually surged 48%. That's a little bit more realistic. The nice thing it says here, there's not been a single year of decline in our market. Twin Falls is what I call a reverse bedroom community. So there's a whole lot of housing around Twin Falls where people live, and then they commute into Twin Falls to work. I'm very familiar with this area. If I didn't say it before, this is right where I live. I live right in this town, which is a great opportunity to have a development like this in my hometown where I can actually go to the site on a regular basis, see the progress, and help provide feedback to the team. Twin Falls itself is sits right in the middle of everything, in my opinion. So we've got Boise, Idaho, less than 2 hours on this side. We've got Salt Lake City, Utah, about 2.5 to 3 hours on this side. Sun Valley, Idaho, where all the movie stars live and all the ski resorts are, things like that, is about an hour north of us. And Jackpot, Nevada, where all the casinos are and things like that, are only about 45 minutes south. So it's a great opportunity, great area to invest in. There's a great corridor of I-84 that goes right past us to the north, and Highway 93 comes right through our town. So there's a ton of traffic and a great place to invest. The economy here is very diverse. So it's backed up by agriculture. When people think of Idaho, they usually think of potatoes. But believe it or not, we export more milk and dairy products than potatoes, and also more trout than potatoes. There's a ton of agriculture, farming, dairies, ranches, fish farms, things of that nature in this area, and then several other industries that are supported by that. You see here on this slide, we've got lots of food processing plants. Chobani yogurt, some of the best yogurt you can buy, is made right here in Twin Falls. Cliff Bars as well. Glambia Nutritionals, which is really famous for cheese. They make cheese for several different brands, but they also make other like protein products and healthcare products and all sorts of things. And we've got, off the top of my head, four Glambia plants within 20 miles of Twin Falls, one right here in Twin Falls. And of course, a great health system and one of the best colleges in, I believe, in the Northwest, right here in our hometown. Absolutely a phenomenal place to live and even better place to invest. So that's the problem, right? But how are we going to solve it? We're going to develop standard units that are 3 bedroom, two and a half bath townhomes. These are going to be approximately 1,200 livable square feet. And that size of unit, this type of unit is in very high demand in our area. We're going to build these out in a three-phase approach, which lowers our capital requirement, thus boosting your returns significantly. We're going to sell these units. It says right here in the mid 300 sales price. Our performance starts that out at 375 per unit. And I'll show you comps later on, but the comparable units are selling for 395, 396, somewhere in that range. This says 5% below comps, but I think it's actually a little bit better than that. So some of the differences between Fromley and other developers is uh, we're all invested right alongside of you. You'll see in the sources and uses slide in a minute that Mark and his team, they're investing 10% of the capital, a little more than that at this time, but they're committed to having 10% of the capital into this deal, which is a very strong GP alignment. You don't see that high of a percentage typically on these types of deals from the developer. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the land is entitled, permitted, everything is ready to go. We just have to start the horizontals and then we can go vertical. It's talking about hands-on oversight. You know, the team is located in Boise, Idaho, which is an hour and a half away, as I mentioned previously. But I'm also right here in this town. I'll show you where the property is and where I live, but we're about not even 2 miles away, probably a mile away as the crow flies. So this is a map of the project and what it's going to look like when it's all done. And you see it's a very well designed complex with lots of green space and some areas for, kids to go play, things of that nature. Also, as part of this, the team has committed to developing a park for the city in this green space right here. They're going to develop a giant park for the city, all funded and everything by the city. So the residents are going to have a park right next door that they can go play in, which is, I don't even know how to say it, but that's a huge bonus for this property. Now, one thing I want to point out here, I actually already saw the question pop up. If you're looking at this slide, the first thing you should think of is this in a flood zone? Because you can see right here along the side, there's this rock creek, and it says it's a creek, but this thing's a full-blown river. And so it makes a lot of sense that somebody would wonder about a flood zone, but this is actually in a canyon. I don't know the exact depth of the canyon in this area, but it's a couple of 100 feet deep. And so the amount of water that we'd have to get to have this flood would be enormous, literally a couple 100 feet worth. And so it really protects this whole area because any flooding would run right into that canyon and right through this river that, by the way, runs all the way through our town. And there's some really amazing places inside our town that this creates for us. It's a great feature for this city. And these people are going to be right next to it. It's going to be a very highly desirable place to live. So I told you that I live real close. So this pin is where the property is right here. And yes, my house is like right here. So as I mentioned, maybe 2 miles, mile and a half, maybe as the crow flies. So real close to this property. I actually drive by it regularly. It's in a really good area of town. There's several schools right here, really close, a grocery store right over here. And I mentioned Chobani and Cliff Bar because these are like right in this area where Chobani and Cliff Bar are, right about in here approximately. So as you can see, it's really close if somebody wanted to work in that area. Now, the whole project is about 42 million to build these 136 townhomes. As I mentioned, this is a 3-year project. We do have two investor classes. If you're $50,000 or more, you can get into this class A, which your returns are projected to be 22 IRR or a 1.7 times on your money in 3 years. So somebody that invests $100,000, they're going to get $170,000 back. Now, for larger check writers, if you can write $1 million or more, there's a special share class just for you. You can see here those returns are projected to be 25 IRR and a 1.82, excuse me, equity multiple in just 3 years. Those are really high returns for development and also in a really short amount of time. Again, I'm really excited about this opportunity for those reasons. Now, the debt is something I'm really excited about. This is an 85% loan to cost model. We do have a 3-year term with two extensions, as you can see here. And the rate is something that you should really pay attention to. So we underwrote this at a 10.74% interest rate, and we haven't locked the loan yet, which is something that is really important because if you track interest rates, you'll know interest rates have been coming down over the last several months, and they're projected to continue to do so. So the last time we got a quote for this was actually to like around 10.1, somewhere in that range. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that by the time we lock this rate and lock this loan, we'll actually be in the single digits, which would be absolutely phenomenal to be in the 9% range. Just increases your returns because it increases the profitability of the project if we don't have to pay as much interest. So again, another great opportunity. Here's the sources and uses I mentioned earlier. As you can see here, the GP is committed to being at 10% of the overall equity. The overall equity is 6.3 million. They're going to keep in 633,000. So investors, we're looking for 5.6, 5.7 million, and we're about halfway there on that raise. So we only have a little under 3 million left that we can allocate to this. I don't know that any of you would write a check that big, but just so you know, that's the maximum we can take on this deal. And of course, it also breaks out all of the uses everywhere that money's going right here. Now, I mentioned the housing prices in Idaho. This is the Zillow Home Index for Twin Falls, Idaho. It averages out all of the sales in the entire metro area. So old houses, new houses. This is the average of every sale that's happened. That hits the MLS, which the standard realtors use. I just realized at the bottom here the dates are cut off, but this is during the COVID boom, right? When everybody was moving to Idaho. You can see before that we had a really nice increase in prices. They'd been happening for several years before that. Obviously, after COVID, we saw this big spike and a little bit of a dip because, the prices have to normalize. But after that, it's continued to increase pretty consistently over time. Again, these are average sales, old houses, little tiny homes, also some big houses, right, that are nice and new. So I don't know exactly where this lines out, but average is about 380 in the area right now. So the exact houses we're going to build, like I mentioned earlier, are 3-bed, 2.5 bath. So all of these comps that are listed here are 3-bed, 2-bath. So we're going to be a little bit more desirable than that. And you can see the average of all of these homes that have sold anywhere from 385 to 396 comes in at 391,000. Now, these were all brand new builds, just like this one's going to be. And we're projecting our sales cost to be 375. So what is that? $16,000 less, something in that realm. Didn't do that math, just did it in my head. And you guys, as I mentioned on the previous slide, the prices of these homes are continuing to rise. So when this product comes out in 3 years, this 391 probably is going to be well over 400. And so we'll list the first ones out at 375, see how they do. Potentially, we could even sell them for a higher amount than that, and thus again increasing your returns because we underwrote at 375. So if we can sell some at 380, 385, 390, that just increases your profitability. Great opportunity. As I mentioned, this is a 3-year project, 37 months. That's starting in January, so we're really excited to kick this off. The average sale price I already covered, 375. And these are the project level returns overall. So you can see the project's doubling the invested capital in that 3 year time frame. Now, not all that goes to the investors, but the reason we talk about this is to prove that there is a significant margin and plenty of room in this deal for you, the investors, as well as the general partners and the developers and everyone else involved. A little more specifics on the fees. Class A is a 65-35 split with an 8% preferred return to you. Now, that's all paid at the end of this project. That all comes out to that 1.7 we talked about earlier. And those Class B investors, the ones that get $1 million or more, that gives them an 80-20 split with a 10% preferred return. Now, I want to cover a little bit of the history, some things that this team has done previously. This is a project that the team completed in Boise, Idaho. A little bit smaller than this one, but it just proves out the returns that they're able to complete. So they built 29 townhomes in 36 months. This one had a little bit lighter leverage, but they provided a 1.7x return to the investors in that 36 months, just to prove that this team has done it before and they're able to do it again. Which, by the way, if you haven't already asked, that's the most important thing is the team's experience on a project like this. You've got to have a good team behind you, or we're really not going to go very, very far, very fast. So here is a little bit on the finishes and the design of the townhomes that they created in Boise. Help give you an understanding of how this one's going to look. It's going to be very, very similar design and very, very similar finishes. Here's a couple pictures of the completed project and how it looks. Again, this is the one in Boise, so it's not the same project. And also, another disclaimer, you guys, past results don't are not indicative of future results, right? But the experience shows they've done it once or twice or 4 or 5 times in this case, they can do it again. All right, let's had a question about the loan here. So let me see if I can get back to that slide. Talk about the debt. Preliminary debt terms. All right, so the question was, is this a recourse or a non-recourse loan? It is a non-recourse loan guaranteed by Mark personally and his wife Lori. And again, it is a 3 year term with 2 extensions built in if needed. And the rate was at 10.74 and will be less than that. I'm not comfortable giving you an exact answer on what that rate will be because we haven't locked it yet, but it'll be significantly less than this. Last quote was at like around 10.1, 10.125, I think was the exact number. Great question. If you guys have any more questions, please drop them in the chat. I will answer them. If you're interested in investing in this deal, you can scan this QR code right here. It'll take you to the investor portal for this deal where you can learn more. You can read the PPM and see the specifics, the legal documents, etc. If you have any questions after this webinar, or if you're watching the recording, you can email me here or call me right here on this number. And this is my website where you can see all the deals I'm working on, past deals, my track record, things of that nature. I've also got some great educational content on there, blog posts, and a free 7-day passive investor course. All right, questions. Okay. First question I see here is, where's the property located? Twin Falls, Idaho. If I didn't say Idaho earlier, I apologize. Twin Falls, Idaho. It is right in the middle of southern Idaho, right where I live, and a great place to both live and invest. We've got several people on this call from Twin Falls. So those of you that are here, you know how amazing this place is. Next question. Is there a garage? Yes. Yes, there are garages. Question here about the comps. I'm just making sure I understand this properly. So the comps are a little bit larger in size. Does that matter? It's really hard to find an exact comp. If you go back to the slide I had previously, you can see we are a little bit smaller on the units, but we've got bigger garages, and we've also three-bedroom, 2.5 bath versus the other ones on the slide were just 3.2. So they're really comparable and when you start looking at like price per square foot. And then we also have the natural increase in sales price that's going to happen over the next 3 years. It's going to help us as well. Um, let's see. Next question. Um, how much investable capital is left? I don't have the exact number, how much more we're looking at investments, but it's a little under $3 million dollars. I'd have to check with Kyle to see exactly where we are today, but it's 3 million. We can handle about that. Right. This question says, what is my relationship to this deal? So great question, you guys. Anybody that invests on this webinar will most likely invest through my fund, Ascension Wealth Fund. But I am a GP on this deal, a general partner on this deal. That was one of the requirements that I'm brought into the fold because I'm right here in this town and I can help support the opportunity and support the deal throughout its life cycle. Let's see, just checking to make sure I got all of the questions answered here. All right, looks like that's all of them. You guys, if you have any more questions, please drop them in the chat. Just a quick recap one more time. So this is 136 townhome development right here in Twin Falls, Idaho. That is not the right slide. I want to be on this slide. 37-month timeline. We're building these townhomes right here. Uh, we have a total project IRR of 28.4 and a 1.9x equity multiple for the project. Class A investors that bring in $50,000 or more, they're going to get a 1.7 equity multiple on your money. If you can bring in $1 million or more, it's a 1.82 times your money. Uh, ooh, question here. You said as little as 50,000 could be invested. How do we become accredited? Yeah, so 50,000 is the minimum investment on this project. As far as being accredited, let's cover that real quick. So let me go back to this slide with my QR code. So if anybody chooses to scan it. So to become an accredited investor, there are three options, not three requirements. So any one of these three things will make you an accredited investor. So the first option is to have a securities license. So if you're a registered financial advisor with the SEC licenses, you're automatically accredited. Uh, that's not very many people on this call based on the list of names I see, but there might be one or two. The second option is if you have an income of $200,000 a year or more, if you're investing as a single person. That does go up to a $300,000 or more if you're investing as a joint person, right? So my understanding is even if you're married, you can invest as a single person if your income is $200,000 a year or more. The other option is to have a net worth of $1 million or more. And you can include everything that you own in that: stocks, retirement funds, cars, art collection, gun collection, cigar collection, anything you own except your primary residence. The home you live in for the accreditation status does not count towards your net worth. Apologize for that. That's the SEC's requirement, not mine. So again, three options just to cover them are licensed with the SEC, $200,000 a year or more for a single person, or $1 million of net worth or more outside of your primary residence. I'd be happy to dig into that issue with anybody in greater detail. If you think you're close on that, I can help see if we can get you pushed over the edge. And then as far as the requirements, the documentation I need, I have a form letter that you just have to have signed by a CPA, attorney, or licensed financial advisor. Real easy form letter. Any one of those people can fill it out for you. All right. Any more questions, friends? Oh, hey, I just saw somebody, they've been on here a while. I just saw their name though from Alaska. Hi from Alaska. That's awesome. All right, you guys, if there's any more questions come up, as I mentioned, my email address is right here, senate@senateescridge.com. My phone number and website are on there. You guys can also book a call with me if you want to at meetsenate.com. It's not on there, but it's pretty easy to remember, meetsenate.com, and you can schedule a call right on my calendar. You guys, thank you so much for being on here. I'm excited to work on this project with you and reach out to me with any more questions. Have a good night, friends.